I'm Catherine Dow. It's Thursday, July 3rd. Today, a deadly week.
Patience, just be patient.
What RCMP say is leading to a rash of fatal highway crashes. Also today, don't bank on it.
It's just horrible.
Why West End residents fear their area will become a banking desert. Plus, a community concern.
We need staff to help keep these doors open.
Why Winnipeg community centers are in trouble and what can be done to keep the doors open. Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us. Marilee is away. 2025 has been a deadly year on Manitoba highways after a rash of car crashes in the last week, which have claimed the lives of 7 people. Fatal crashes have happened near Swan River, Lynn Lake, Steinbach, Sprague, and other locations. They've involved multiple vehicles, head-on collisions, and an ATV rollover. Joining me now live to speak more about this is CTV's John Hendricks. So, John, we know it's been a tragic week, but are we seeing more fatal crashes in Manitoba this year than usual?
Catherine, the answer is sadly yes. According to Manitoba RCMP, there have been 34 people killed in crashes on Manitoba highways so far this year. Now, that is 11 more fatalities than this time in 2024, when there were just 23. And the number of highway deaths this year are also above Manitoba's 5-year average, which is 30. Now, RCMP say the number of highway traffic fatalities usually goes up during the summer. There are more vehicles on the road, driving to cottage country and campgrounds. And because roads are clear and dry, drivers tend to be more complacent and take more risks to get where they're going faster.
There's lack of patience behind the wheel. No matter if in Winnipeg and construction zones, out on the highways, there's just that much more traffic now. As the population of Manitoba grows, there's just more vehicles out there, so people need to be cognizant that chances are you're going to come across slower traffic or a construction zone that's going to slow you down, so you just take your time.
Well, with another summer weekend coming up, RCMP Sergeant Paul Maneg has one piece of advice for Manitoba drivers. Be patient, because he says getting to your destination 5 or 10 minutes later is better than not getting there at all. Now, coming up at 6 o'clock, CTV's Jeff Keel will have more on this story, including how one of the recent fatal crashes has affected the local music community. All right, thanks for this, John. Meanwhile, a 29-year-old motorcyclist has died after a crash last night. It happened on Pembina Highway near McGilvery. According to Winnipeg police, a motorcycle was traveling south on Pembina when it collided with an SUV, leaving a parking lot. The motorcyclist died from his injuries in hospital. Police are asking any witnesses, including those with dashboard cameras, to contact the Winnipeg Police Traffic Division. And people living in Lynn Lake are on another wildfire evacuation alert. On social media, the town says wildfires are threatening some hydro lines and some highways. It says a mandatory evacuation order could come as early as tomorrow if a power outage happens, since services such as water treatment and emergency services would be affected. It adds those who are able to leave on their own should do so as soon as possible. Bomb threats caused delays at several Canadian airports this morning, including here in Winnipeg. The Winnipeg Airports Authority tells CTV News the security incident had minimal impact on operations and that only a few flights were delayed. Besides Winnipeg, NAV Canada says threats affected airports in Vancouver, Ottawa, Montreal, Edmonton, and Calgary. With more on the nationwide alert, here is CTV's Judy Trin.
Bleary-eyed travelers set to depart on early flights at the Ottawa International Airport, unexpectedly jolted by a security scare.
I just checked in 10 minutes ago, flight's canceled, that's it, good luck.
Gates were closed, we couldn't get through, so we all sat down and there was a lot of questions, and then a friend of mine just texted me and said there was a bomb threat.
The threat was directed at NAV Canada, which manages national air traffic control operations. In a statement, the organization said that bomb threats impacted its facilities in Ottawa, Montreal, Edmonton, Winnipeg, Calgary, and Vancouver, and that it's collaborating with authorities to ensure the safety of all personnel and passengers. NAV Canada will not comment on what motivated the threat, but it did evacuate its staff and issued a temporary order to ground planes, preventing takeoffs and landings. Passengers who boarded one flight were forced to disembark. At departure gates, travelers were pushed back to one side of the building.
We were walked right up to our gate on time, and as we were approaching gate 26, we saw a row of security people walking towards us saying, everybody back, turn around.
In Winnipeg, the airport was eerily quiet, but in the end, police did not find a bomb at any of the threat locations. But passengers were knocked off track.
We just got a notification that we were rebooked for tomorrow, which is 24 hours too late for our family reunion.
Normal operations and flights resumed after more than 3 hours across affected airports. But finding out who's responsible will take much longer. Judy Trin, CTV News, Ottawa.
While the city's election isn't for another year, at least one current council member is planning to seek another term. Mayor Scott Gillingham will run for a second term as mayor in the 2026 municipal election. The mayor's communications director confirmed the decision via email. Gillingham was elected in 2022, winning 27.5% of the vote among 11 candidates. Prior to that, he served as councillor for the St. James ward and was the chair of the Finance Committee. Winnipeg police are looking for a suspect in a series of sexual assaults they say occurred yesterday night near the Health Sciences Centre. Police say the first happened around 7 when a teenager was sexually assaulted by an unknown man. 12 minutes later, a female HSC staff member was assaulted while walking East William near Furby. That was followed by another sexual assault a half hour later when a woman walking in the HSC tunnels was sexually assaulted. A fourth incident happened only a few minutes later to a woman walking on Emily Street near McDermott. The suspect is described as a man in his 20s with a slim build and dark hair. He was wearing a Jets shirt and had jewelry on. Anyone with information about the suspect is asked to call the Sex Crimes Unit or contact Crime Stoppers. The Winnipeg Police Service did not release the condition of any of the victims. Some people living in the West End say they fear their neighborhood will become a banking desert after another closure.
Banks should be the pillar of a community. They have an obligation to the community. People say they're just a business, and they are. But when a bank is making $16 billion in a year, they can afford areas like this.
The Royal Bank of Canada at the corner of Sherbrooke Street and Sargent Avenue is set to close July 11th. Protest organizers say it's the last remaining bank in their area. They say it leaves thousands of West End residents without a bank they walk to, forcing them to travel by bus, Uber, or taxi to the next closest location. They say the closure affects seniors, people with disabilities, and low-income residents. Residents were asked to sign a petition to go to Canada's finance minister, urging the federal government to intervene.
It supports all the folks in our neighborhood who really banking in person is the way they meet their financial needs. So the loss of this bank is going to have a huge impact on the community as a whole. And so I'm hoping that RBC listens to the voices of Union Station and reverses their decision.
The RBC closure follows earlier departures by BMO and other financial institutions. In a statement to CTV News, RBC says the branch is merging with the Ellis Avenue location. It says staff will work one-on-one with any clients who need support during the transition. City Council is taking a closer look at Winnipeg community centers and the model used to run them.
We want to ensure that community centers are sustainable into the future because they are primarily run by volunteers.
The General Counsel of Winnipeg Community Centers says the existing model from 50 years ago isn't sustainable, so it has developed Plan 2045. It proposes the creation of governance boards responsible for directing centers on operations and programs, as well as an annual grant of $250,000 to hire staff.
This is intended to be to create some guideposts and some supports, additional supports, and to make sure that if we don't have enough volunteers, that we do have backup singers. We need staff to help keep these doors open.
The report notes volunteer numbers dropped by more than half compared to before the COVID-19 pandemic. If approved, the plan would take place in 4 phases, with the General Council reporting back to the city in 2027 and every 4 years following. The Executive Policy Committee will consider the plan next Tuesday. CTV weather specialist Colleen Brady joins us with a first look at your Skywatch evening forecast. Hot enough for you, Colleen. Wow, it's a swelter day outside.
It sure is. And Catherine, tomorrow will be even hotter and even more humid. Winnipeg and Brandon still under a heat warning tonight. But when you have a hot, humid air mass like this one over the prairies, and you have wildfire smoke in the region as well, generating those poor air quality alerts, you get not just the air quality alerts, you get all manner of weather alerts. There are no less than 5 weather alerts, all issued by Environment and Climate Change Canada, in effect in Manitoba right now. I will break these down a little further, but least of which, or well, not the least of which really, are these heat warnings that continue tonight, like I say, for Winnipeg, for Brandon. How much longer this heat is going to last and this humidity, I will break that down for you, as well as take you through all these other weather conditions affecting Manitoba tonight. But first, let's take a look through the Bathfitter Live Eye. Bathfitter, your bath and shower experts for more than 40 years. In Winnipeg right now, under that heat warning, it's 31 degrees. When you factor in the humidex, it feels like 38. A bit of a breeze, courtesy of those strong and gusty south winds. It's cloudy, the pressure's falling, and the humidity is 50%. Out in traffic on this Thursday afternoon, a live look out onto the Provencher Bridge. Traffic moving well there, but a reminder, there is some new road construction along Abinogi-Mikana that will produce some lane closures between River and Dakota, and that's going to last until October 24th.
A popular Winnipeg Jet is taking off to Carolina. Who won't be in the Jets lineup next season?
Get Winnipeg's top stories, breaking news alerts, and watch live. Download the CTV News app.
Canadian exports are up overall, but exports to the U.S. are down. In May, those exports were down just under 1%. Canada also exported more to other countries, sending raw gold to the UK, crude oil to Singapore, and raw aluminum to Italy. Ottawa wants to diversify trade away from the U.S. after Washington announced tariffs early this year. The major North American markets had record closes again today, but let's start with the Canadian dollar. It's up, hitting 73.64. West Texas Intermediate is down to 67.16. Our fix on Western Canadian Select has it up over $2 to 55.53. And the TSX shot up another 164 points today, for the first time ending the day above 27,000. Those are your business headlines. I'm Marilla Fernandez.
Nikolai Ehlers is waving goodbye to the Winnipeg Jets. The winger signed a 6-year deal with the Carolina Hurricanes, valued at $51 million U.S. or $8.5 million a season. Ehlers spent 10 seasons in Winnipeg, playing 674 games for 225 goals and 520 points. He also took part in 45 playoff games, adding 9 goals and 21 points. Ehlers was drafted 9th overall by Winnipeg in 2014. The town of Neepawa is going to see some improvements to its main street. Today, the provincial government announced almost $5 million in upgrades to Highway 16, the Yellowhead Highway. The aim is to improve access to the newly expanded health center and to develop an improved road network connecting to a new daycare, school, and the industrial park. In a news release today, the province says the upgrades are needed to keep up with the town's growth. The project is being done through the town of Neepawa and Manitoba Transportation and Infrastructure, with funding from the Manitoba Growth, Renewal and Opportunities Program. Construction of the health center access is expected to be completed by the fall. A one-stop shop for women with breast cancer is celebrating 10 years in Winnipeg. The store is called The Unexpected Gift, and the store's owner says her own diagnosis in 2012 made her realize there was a need for simplicity and convenience for cancer patients.
We don't compare, we just listen, because everybody's story is so very different, and what they go through and what they experience, from side effects to emotions, are also different. So we just listen, and I think people feel comfort because they know we've gone through it and we're still here and we're thriving.
The store on South Osborne sells products like wigs, specialty bras, and surgical wear. It's designed to be a safe place for cancer patients to shop and learn more about what's available. And it's more than a store. The Unexpected Gift also offers support and guidance. And the Unexpected Gift, is located at 654 South Osborne. It is open Tuesday to Friday, 10 to 4.
Community Connection is brought to you by Mr. Reuter Plumbing. Born to be a hero, trained to be a plumber.
The dog wasn't on a leash, but their son was.
A social media star turned stand-up comedian is bringing his act to Winnipeg. Details in the CTV Spotlight next.
Spotlight, sponsored by the Casinos of Winnipeg, presenting Menopause, the musical.
Colleen Brady has your Spotlight today. Colleen, we start with some sad news from Hollywood.
We sure do. Actor Michael Madsen has died at age 67. His publicist says he suffered cardiac arrest and was found unresponsive in his Malibu home. Oh, Catherine, who could forget that infamous scene from Quentin Tarantino's thriller Reservoir Dogs? Authorities say they responded to a 911 call around 8 a.m. this morning and say he was found deceased due to natural causes. Madsen has been active in Hollywood since the 80s, working in various acclaimed films, including Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Kill Bill, and Thelma and Louise.
I will always think of him when I hear that song. Yeah. Okay, now to some local entertainment news. A social media star turned stand-up comedian is making a trip across the country. He's got to stop here in Winnipeg.
That's right.
They were walking towards me, and the dog wasn't on a leash, but their son was.
Curtis Connor brings his The Goodfellow World Tour to Burton Cummings Theatre November 29th. Connor exploded in popularity as a YouTube personality and has recently partnered with Just for Laughs and started touring. Tickets go on sale Friday through Live Nation.
Meanwhile, tickets are going fast for the Winnipeg Folk Festival.
Are they ever? The Folk Fest is turning 50 next weekend, and 4-day tickets are sold out, but individual and 4-day camping passes are still available. The Folk Fest is set to begin at 5 o'clock next Thursday at Birds Hill Park. Already, volunteers are getting the park ready to host thousands of music fans. This year's lineup includes Allison Russell, Ani DeFranco, Blackie and the Rodeo Kings, and Bruce Coburn, who performed at the very first Folk Fest back in 1974. There are also special 50th anniversary events and exhibits. For day passes and camping passes, visit winnipegfolkfestival.ca.
Looks like it's going to be a very special year.
Sure will.
All right, thanks for that, Colleen.
You're welcome. Kick off your prime time at 7 with Transplant, then catch Good Bad Cop and end the night with E-Talk at 10:30 only on CTV. I guess it's Good Cop, Bad Cop, just to be a bit more precise. Right now, the heat warning continues over the city, and you can see why. It's 31 degrees with a humidex. It feels like 38. I'll show you how long this heat and humidity will be lasting.
Women's clothing provided by RW & Company. Salon services provided by S&T Spa Salon.
CTV Skywatch weather brought to you by South Beach Casino and Resort. Visit southbeachcasino.ca.
CTV weather specialist Colleen Brady has your Skywatch evening forecast. Colleen, I don't want to be a complainer about the heat. We spend so much time complaining about the cold, but I am hoping that this bout is maybe coming to an end soon.
When you get this much heat and this much humidity, the conversation becomes very divisive. People either love it or not so much, thank you. It won't last for too much longer, but it's going to be even more humid tomorrow. So as I mentioned earlier, we have all manner of weather alerts in effect tonight across the prairies, including here in Manitoba. No less than 5 different weather alerts, including that heat warning that is very much necessary for us here in Winnipeg, out to Brandon, and then the other direction into northwestern Ontario. So what does this all mean? Well, very warm overnight lows around 20 degrees tonight, and then another hot day with temperatures into the low 30s with humidex values that will feel closer to 40. This all ends with a cold front that's going to cross the region on Friday night. By Saturday, it will be a lot more comfortable for a lot of folks, I suspect. Further north in the Interlake, lighting up in red, we've got the lakes here under a strong wind warning. Out to the southwest corner of the province, we have a severe thunderstorm watch in effect. There's an awful lot of instability in Saskatchewan that's triggering thunderstorms there, and I want to point one out quickly to you. This thunderstorm that is approaching Moosomin, still on the Saskatchewan side on the border, for now, was a severe thunderstorm until a few minutes ago. So if you are in places like Minneota, Roblin, Russell, watch out. It's headed your way. Now the northern half of the province, we have the wildfire smoke compounding the heat and the humidity. So pretty much a good swath of northern Manitoba, including places like Gillam, Norway House, Thompson, and out even into Flin Flon and Lynn Lake. No surprise there. Under an outright air quality warning a little further north. Less severe alert, but an alert nonetheless related to air quality for Tuduli Lake. You'll be experiencing smoky conditions there. But again, out in the northwest, where we do not want severe thunderstorms to develop, they could, including in those wildfire affected areas like Flin Flon and Lynn Lake tonight. So no surprise, it's 27 degrees up in Norway House, so certainly very warm there. Down here in the south, we have temperatures right now in the low 30s. We've got that rain that will cross northern Manitoba tonight. We could get an early morning wake-up call overnight here with showers or thunderstorms passing through into Friday morning. Then it'll be another hot, humid day across the province. That cold front comes through Friday night, it breaks, and then conditions will be a lot cooler comparatively on Saturday with highs in the low to mid 20s. 21, our overnight low tonight with the likelihood of thunderstorms. 30 tomorrow, there's the risk of thunderstorms both early in the morning and in the afternoon. Quick look at the long-range forecast shows you much more comfortable temperatures by the weekend under a mix of sun and cloud, but the heat ramps back up, Catherine, by next week. Let's take a look at our weather photos. This is an excellent storm photo. This is a storm cloud. This was forming near Dropmore, Manitoba. That's right near the Saskatchewan border. That photo is from Dan, and a beautiful look at the sun setting over Lee River. Send us your pics to Winnipeg weather at ctv.ca. That one was from Ken.
Thanks, Colleen. Some of the best food at this mall can be found on the roof.
We have lettuce, beets, a lot of tomatoes, a lot of potatoes, a little bit of radishes, some spinach.
The Stone Road Mall in Guelph started its roof garden in 2021. Since then, it's produced more than 2,000 pounds of food. The garden's maintained by mall staff, and all the food harvested goes to a nonprofit food distributor. Slightly beats the Orange Julius, I'd say.
There you go.
Although they are good.
It would taste tasty right now, too.
Yeah, it would be a good refresher. All right, that's going to do it for us. Sandy Ronaldo is going to be with you in a moment. Then we'll see you back here for CTV News at 6.